Hello.
Live.
Bula.
Bula, everybody.
It's Friday.
You know what I noticed is that the feed always starts like a couple seconds before, like 1 or 2 seconds.
When it loads, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before the countdown.
Yeah.
But we got Starlink now, so
Yeah.
I think everything is a lot more stable.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at one of these posts I saw about the wildfires.
I just.
Oh, the beginning of that that clip that you heard like 2 seconds ago. Like, have you ever heard? What's the joke? Oh, have you ever heard of my my Nazi knock knock joke?
No.
No. Knock knock.
Who's that?
We will ask the questions. So stupid. Except, I think that actually happened originally. Have you watched Suits?
Yeah, Suits.
I think that's actually a
joke from that.
Yeah, out of Suits.
Oh.
Like, who's the main character? Mike. Mike is the undergrad law student.
Yeah.
And then who's his boss? Henry? Have you watched Suits? No. And anyways, his arch nemesis who works in the same office but hates him. You know the big guy with the kind of balding?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hey, have you ever heard my Nazi knock knock joke? Guy's like, no. Like, knock knock.
Who's there?
Who's there? But he actually slaps him. He's like,
Oi.
we will ask the questions. I'm like, dude, so not a great way to start a live stream.
How's been your week? How was your week?
Better than people in LA. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been a okay week. Yeah, it's Friday, and so I kind of forget what happened since Monday actually. But it's been a hard week from the point of like everybody is kind of coming back to work. So when you're trying to, when you have, your own business, you like start like New Year. Like as soon as the holiday's over, you start work. But like a lot of these like big corporations and like stuff, their staff don't get back until, well, I thought it was going to be Monday, but then some people just got back to work yesterday, and so you're like trying to plan, video shoots or whatever.
Beginning of the year.
Yeah, exactly, and trying to get paid from stuff from last year, and it's like you just keep getting like email responses like, sorry, I'm not in the office until you're like.
Yeah, you just want to get things rolling.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I've been trying to buy stuff on Amazon, but things are not. Yeah.
Amazon too.
I'm always trying to get a night vision camera for the job that we have coming up.
Oh, so
like infrared.
because
we have to film at night. Right?
Yeah, because that's when.
And so I was like, how are we gonna? But the thing won't be here until the 21st, but the job starts on the 20th. So there is a way to. Everybody will leave this live stream if I keep talking about this. But anyways, there's a way to turn like a normal camera, like our Sony, into a night vision camera. There's like over every camera sensor, there's from what I understand, basically it's like a filter that only allows in like RGB light.
Yeah.
If you remove that filter, apparently it turns into like a full spectrum camera is what they call it. You can do this to any camera from what I understand, and then it can see infrared. And so if you use an infrared light, which human eye can't see at night, it still looks like darkness.
But
then
it'll just look like a red dot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen these? Like
Yeah. I was night producer for Survivor, the Australian Survivor.
Yeah, right.
And we have that
infrared.
Yeah, infrared and
a special camera.
Yeah, and the Sony.
Just a normal
camera.
Sony.
Yeah.
Modified.
Like the one that like a camcorder kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, the huge ones.
But it's modified.
Yeah, and then it
there
has that.
Okay.
And
shoot. Do you know anybody who has one here? Because I'm trying to get it here by the 21st.
Oh man, that guy used to have it, and
Walter?
Yeah.
He had one.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Did he take it with him or did he sold it?
Honestly, they're like a couple $100.
Yeah.
It's not like a multi-$1,000 investment.
Yeah,
it's just like, it's actually a hunting. They're used mainly in hunting. This one just happens to record video, and so.
Yeah, I had it. It's just a small one like this.
Right.
Yeah. and we weren't allowed to use a torch in the night when like the contestants are sleeping. So I was just using that as a
Just creeping around.
as a guide, like taking me around.
Did you ever see anything like you shouldn't have seen?
Oh yeah,
Like inappropriate?
yeah.
Because I mean, not on purpose, but like you're like walking around and people are
Yeah, people are in their
changing
sleep.
or
Well,
like
they're in their sleep and how should I put that?
making love.
No. Because they know it's like 24/7, right? And they can't do those kind of things. But
Oh,
yeah, some are like sleeping half naked and
oh,
yeah.
well,
Mm.
yeah, because like, I mean, you're gonna be filmed. You signed the papers, right?
Yeah.
So people, can you say much about it? Were you-
Now, yeah, I could.
Yeah.
I can.
So, but like, I mean, we're not gonna.
Details.
One thing you were saying is like people fly, like all the contestants fly into Sabu,
Yeah,
and they're blindfolded,
they're
right from the airport.
Yep.
And then they're driven out to
Corsan.
Corsan,
Corsan.
right? And that's where they kind of
Yeah.
take
they
off the
have-
blindfold and debrief, or
Yeah.
not debrief, like do their initiation kind
Yeah.
of protocol stuff.
Have their last meal
Yeah,
and they're given like
Get
a
their-
tote bag
the ready bag kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just get one change.
Well,
Yeah. And blindfold again. And they'll come.
weird.
They get off there. So the 2 points that they went and stayed in was one in Naweni.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Nanduva's village.
Yep.
Yeah. On your way to Natuvu.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And another one was before Naweni. Yeah. Even I, because it was my first time doing a Survivor show, and because I always watch it, right? And I thought it was like way in the interior, somewhere like there's no civilization, like really in the bushes or really in like an empty beach, you know. So we got there and we like turned to Nanduva village. Naweni village. I was like, hey, this is Naweni village. And then there was like a road.
It's right beside.
Yeah. And then
Well, that's the thing. You can be like, out on
Yeah.
this like remote island, and
It's like, whoa.
it's like JBL music box or something.
but it did happen. It
Yeah?
did happen. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard to.
Yeah.
Well, because you have somebody like me
yeah.
going fishing with their friends in Subsawa
Yeah.
and be like, hey, let's go trolling.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So what happens when you see a boat like
Well,
in the
there's
background?
like at the end
Funny,
of
eh?
like
Like you don't think about this.
yeah, because like the beach that we were put in with the contestants, like it's like a little bay, yeah.
Okay,
Like a
yeah,
bay. So
yeah.
like there's like securities on the
Okay, on the
Boat,
edge of the
yeah,
beaches.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
and they would like
And then probably
try-
fences like they go up, like just to temporarily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
and and like securities are all over the areas, and even the contestants have been told like when you see like the boundary that's your boundary, you know,
Yeah.
like the signs, yeah. So like a few like 500 to like 700 or 800 meters around the area where they are told that that's where you can, yeah.
But if like somebody was going by, like idiot like me, just going trolling with his buddies, like do they have a boat that they send up? Be like,
Yeah,
"Hey, get
yeah,
out here."
yeah.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
would cross them. But one funny story, I think it was Rio when Nanduva went,
Oh,
and they won
Rio
the-
Olympic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
won the gold medal. Yeah. So
During
so
I
yeah.
see where this is going.
So Nanduva came back from the Rio Olympics.
Yeah.
And we were there that night. And he came back and like, you know, because like Fijians, they do like a huge songo in the village.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, one of our own went for the Rio Olympics and they won gold medal, and you know, sevens, yeah, it's big in Fiji. So he comes back. They did like a songo, which wasn't very loud, and they were like being briefed, like, hey, we're still shooting, right? So at night, I only work at night, so I came in like 6 p.m., changed shifts with the producers, the day producers, and I was there in the night. And I was filming these guys, and they were like cooking their beans, because that's the only ration that they have been given, like beans.
Oh.
Cooking it, sitting by the fire, and just all of a sudden,
Oh no.
and you can just hear it, and everybody's like, hey, there's music here. And I was like radioing the securities, like, hey, could you guys just run to the village? And like, yeah, we're already on our way. And I was filming at the time. And
Good luck, man.
These guys were just like dancing on the fire, and it was so funny. But we couldn't use that clip because people they have to.
Yeah. Right. Otherwise, it takes away from the vibe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have done it somewhere like in Cabello or something. Oh, they did do it out there actually once, eh?
Yeah,
oh, that's
the first
right,
one.
What's the place?
Dongtuki.
Vunivutu.
Dongtuki, eh? That's it. Dongtuki area.
Is it? Nandongo?
Nandongo.
Yeah, Nandongo.
Yeah, it was so funny. And Nanduva came. I think they were like partying in the village. These guys were like, all right. I was calling our CEO, like executive producer, and I was telling, hey, like there's music in the village, and I couldn't get any clips from tonight. Yeah. So okay, yeah, that's all right. Securities went, tried to tell them, like, nope, they're just blasting the music.
Shit, dude. well, hey, dude, we're gonna celebrate, baby. You can't stop an Olympic celebration, right?
Yeah. That was so funny. Yeah. But then, like with the contestants, after like the games and everything, they would come back again, and they would ask like the locals or like people there to like take us to where we were like staying, and then they realized like, shoot, it wasn't like.
Oh, so they actually thought they were far away.
Yeah.
Oh, even I thought you guys were just trying to trick the. Like they didn't ever clue in that they were right beside a highway or something.
No clue.
You can't hear you can't hear the highway from there.
No, it's just like a bit far in.
Oh.
And a few hundred meters to the beach.
So they come back like later date and they're
later,
right
like a year later, 2 years later, and it comes like, what the heck?
We're right beside. Yeah.
The village is here, like
all the stuff there.
Yeah, because they were blindfolded.
Dude, they didn't know like they were just like 20 minutes down the road from like Fiji's best pizza.
Yeah.
At where's this?
Vanga Garden.
Vanga Garden.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Speaking of who are you talking about? Nanduvalo? Nanduva, yeah. I was driving to Sabu. When did we go? For my cough. If you guys notice that. If I cough, I apologize. I have something going on. I'm on a bunch of medicine for, but we went to Sabu to see the doctor on Tuesday. Yeah. And we reached, I don't know, about halfway, just before Loma Loma village. And I see this lady, old Fijian lady, like running down the road. Old.
Oh.
Like maybe in her late 70s. Like old. And like from a long ways away, she was like acting like kind of like crazy. She was like going like this. And then she'd like actually like run and then stop. And I was like, okay, it looked like somebody was like methed out or like on ice or something.
Oy.
I thought, that's why I thought like some drunk, from a distance, I couldn't,
yeah.
I was like, oh no, it's an old lady. And then when I went by, she's like making weird gestures. I was like, oh, that's really weird. Like, old lady who's like that nimble and like agile.
Yeah.
And then like also out of her mind. And so I was like, I don't know, what's weird. But I couldn't say she was out of her mind. It just, from what I saw as I was like approaching and then driving past, it felt awkward. And then it was probably like another 500 meters from that. Then I see a younger lady, and she's like looking around, and she starts running up the highway, like towards me, away from Loma Loma village, like towards Sengaga. And Loma Loma is just like maybe another 500 meters up the road.
Oh, okay.
So it's all within the span of like a kilometer from the village on the highway. And I'm like, and she's looking all, and then when I drive by, she's like, slow down. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? Like, is everybody like on ice all of a sudden? And like, because I'm related with like all the people up there, right? I'm like, is there like some drugs or something that just made it to this place? And then it like all clicked. I'm like, oh, old lady up there who's acting like she has dementia. Yeah. Young lady over here who's acting like she's looking for somebody. And I'm like, oh, that lady just like got out. Or she's probably looking, this young lady is looking for that old lady. So I like went in front, stopped, turned around, came. And I was like, are you looking for like grandma was asking her Fijian, like an old lady? She's like, yeah, that's like our mom. I'm like, oh yeah, she's just up the highway. So she like got in the vehicle and we like, and this lady was like gone. She was like like way even further than when I passed it, like just like
Oi.
3 minutes before. Guys, come. You want to be on live? Nothing. And then we reach her, and she has dementia, and she's just like old lady, right?
Yeah,
Maybe Alzheimer's and funny. You know, they get like they're funny, eh? Like they're fun to be around. Like your grandma who had dementia, right?
Yeah,
As
my
well.
grandma,
And then I found out it was Ioani Temba's mom.
Oi.
He's the captain? Is he the captain of the Fiji team?
Now? Once?
Wait, did he captain? I can't remember who was.
Oh,
Anyways.
Yeah.
Was he captain? Did they make him?
I think he was in one of the games.
In one of the
Yeah.
Anyways, one of the Fiji Sevens players, and she's like, "Oh, this is Ioani Temba's mom," and I like looked at her face, and I'm like, "Whoa, oh, it is really Temba's mom."
Yeah.
And then look at this. Like there's that video. Do you remember when he came to Nukumbalavu and he did a celebration? Like
that's the mom.
That's her. So I just watched this like just before we started the live.
Yeah.
Or while you were telling me that story, I was like,
so Iwan is, where is he from?
well, the mom is
From Loma.
I don't know if she's from Nukumbalavu because he came back to his village. That'd be his dad's village then, Nukumbalavu. So I don't know where she's from, but it was just funny because the lady in the back was like, because I'm related with the lady who was looking for her.
Oh, okay.
And then it was just like a wild situation. I happened to be
Come across.
like in the right spot at the right time because there's lots of people going by and nobody was stopping. But I was like, something's whack over here. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Oh yes, Guinea. It's Tokyo Olympics. Sorry, it wasn't Rio. Yeah, that was 2019.
Yeah, because Rio was 2016.
16, yeah.
Oh, so you? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oi, Rolos eh. Oh, when you coming, boy?
Who?
Your boy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, when he goes, you never know when he comes, eh? Yeah. I brought the Angona though. So,
You brought it?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna go soon. So,
Huh?
what time are you going?
I don't know. This guy, he'll just meet me when I'm done.
Oh,
whenever.
okay.
But that's correct. Oh. I don't know. When are you coming back?
Yeah.
He said this week.
Yeah.
Last week he said this week.
Yeah.
And then this week he'll say next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Mundundo tungawi ko. Hey. Yeah. Maybe next month he'll come over.
Dude, I didn't realize, like, I was looking online here just based on, like, some of the stuff we have coming up for filming. Like, I didn't realize how close Kavewa is actually to Undu Point already.
Already?
Yeah. Like, from from Lambasa, it's like halfway
Oi.
to Undu. Doesn't feel that far, eh?
Yeah.
That's
I feel
wild.
like Undu is far, but it's not.
No, because, like, if you, like, look here, like, see Lambasa is down here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, if measure distance, Kavewa is over here. 35 kilometers, and then to Undu, 87. So it's like almost halfway. I just didn't realize that it was... The island feels so... It's so hard to judge the size of things in Fiji. I find... Like, we were all the way in Bua, and we hiked to the top of a mountain just outside of Namboalu. And, like, when we could see Kia from
there.
Namboalu. Yeah, and it was like, what is that? I'm like, oh, that's Kia. I'm like, but Kia is, like, over here. But when you drive for, like, 2 hours to Namboalu, you feel like you won't see what's over here anymore, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're in when you drive to the junction for Savu here, when you turn to Saivo, like you can see Nararo, right by above Narilangi village, and you can see Nararo from Alan's house, from the, I guess, the northern side of Vanulevu, right? It's on the Great Sea Reef, but then you can go in Savu Bay and be fishing there, and also see Nararo from that side.
From that side.
So it's like all these like landmarks Or like you'll be in Sabu in certain places and you can see Tavyuni, like from the right.
Yeah.
You're like, what? But like Tavyuni is like 1.5 hours on the bus and then like 2 hours on a boat. But I can see it from here. It just doesn't make sense
doesn't make
sometimes.
sense.
Yeah, it's wild.
It seems far, but it's like when you see those kind of landmarks around.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not that.
It's not that big.
It's not that big. It's not
Yeah,
really
but it's
that
just
far.
like, I think maybe it just takes a long time to get anywhere in Fiji. That
Yeah.
must be it. Makes it feel like bigger than it actually is.
I always
Can we go down and make it tomorrow?
I recommend raking now because the sun is behind the trees. It's cool.
might
But-
do tomorrow.
If you guys want to rake in the hot sun tomorrow, risking it, that's fine with me.
Yeah?
But the raking will not finish itself. Yeah? Okay. Just as long as you know tomorrow, the raking will still be there for you to do. Okay? But you guys want to play with your friends and stuff right now, right? I get it. Okay, sure. The key with parenting is setting expectations. Actually, the key with lots of things is setting expectations. Business, employees, employment, everything, customers. Because like if you have to make people brace before they actually brace. So for example, if I do that with my kids and I'm like, so you know, tomorrow when the sun is hot, you will still have to rake what you didn't rake today. And then at least tomorrow they won't be like, oh, but the sun is hot. It's like, what did I tell you yesterday? So like in sales or whatever, somebody's like, how much is it going to be? And like everything I do, we have the concept that like, I'd rather sell like one $10,000 thing than 10 $1,000 things, right? So we usually charge more than other people, but we do a better job, right? Minus the coffee shop idea. But when people ask, like, okay, how much is it? If you're like, you're not going to like this. It's going to be expensive. They're like, okay. Because you know it's going to be expensive. But if they're like, and you're like, well, it's $10,000. It's going to be $10,000 and this is what we're going to do. And then they're like, but at least if you're already braced for something, the shock is less because you're expecting something high. And like what you think is expensive, what I think is expensive might be two different things, right? So if you can like set people up for that, usually in sales it works a little bit better. Yeah.
Sisa. Hey, Bula Sisa. He's asking, you guys watch airplane crash documentaries?
No, I usually stay away from those because I fly a lot.
Yeah.
I don't need to like fill my mind with that. No, I'm just kidding. You know what is the most freaking wildest thing to me?
Yeah.
Is Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 that went down.
The recent one, eh?
No. This was, what was it? Was it MH370? It was MH370. It was 2014. So it was just crazy to me. How many people were on that flight? How many passengers?
The recent one?
No, MH370. So 227 passengers, 12 crew. So we're talking about like 240 people on a Boeing 777. How does that disappear on Earth? Like, we always like think we understand so much about space. About Earth. Like it's just always sometimes humbling to realize how little we actually have any sort of control over our environment, you know? I guess like for people who love the ocean, like I think we know more about space than we do about the ocean, people say. And so and it just shows you like 240 people on a huge jet just get lost on Earth. It's not like it was sucked into a black hole. Maybe it was. But that flight, like they never found it. They just
Till now?
till now, it's still gone. I don't.
Even with the
Did
black
they, I think
box
they
and...
found debris. Did they find a tail? I don't know if they found any debris or not. Yeah, I think they found some washed up in Seychelles, which is like on the, because it went down on the western coast, off the western coast of Australia, northwest, somewhere there. And but pieces of it washed up. So that's Indian Ocean, but that's the East Indian Ocean. But pieces of it washed up on islands in the West Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Like months and months later. I just always am like, holy, like just gone. Wild, right? Like that's so many people. It's not like one guy on a boat who's trying to like row across the Indian Ocean. No, it's like so many, and like all like the GPS tech that we have now.
Dude,
and
now with the advanced stuff.
and like the LiDAR stuff that we can like scan. Dude, we can scan through the ground. Like they're discovering things in like Guatemala and stuff, like from like ancient peoples, like without even excavating anymore. We're just like shooting like waves into the ground and finding, like able to come up with like really accurate scans of what's below. But we can't find a plane, you know, in the ocean. It's just crazy. That is wild.
Yeah.
Why? What was Cisa saying about it?
No, I don't know. He's just asking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I will watch something about MH370 now. Thank you. I'll watch it with Stephanie because she leaves in like 5 days on planes. Like, watch this before you fly across the Pacific Ocean.
Okay, so this is from left field. There used to be a video on YouTube from 2015 where they showed 3 small drone-like objects supposedly disappearing the plane.
Disappearing the plane?
Yeah.
Well, so they like opened up a black hole, like a portal?
Yeah. Sort of like that. You know what that movie was? Was it Passenger? The TV series. I don't know if that's the same one. I don't know I forgot what's it called. Yeah, I think it was. Forgot. Yeah, they went through a black hole or something, and inside they felt like a turbulence. So
Yeah.
And then when they land, and like all the cops were like, just come there and like stop, because the pilots, like, you know, when they radio in like, oh, okay, we're about to land, and the guys at the tower, at terminal, is like, excuse me, come again, what plane? And then they were like saying, sir, about to land now. To them in the plane, it felt just like a small turbulence, and then they were gonna land. And when they land, it's like all the cops and every ambulance and everyone.
Oh, I
like,
think I've heard of this.
and they're like, the guy's been like missing for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah.
Dude, okay, that reminds me of the scene in Interstellar, where they make that landing on that planet, and they can't make it up to the spaceship or something because of the wave, remember? They're like walking out over those corals.
Yeah.
They're like the beach.
There was a tidal wave.
There's a tidal wave.
Yeah.
And they couldn't make it back up to the spaceship.
Yeah.
And it was like a moment in time for them, but it was like decades for the guy that was waiting for them, like in orbit.
Yeah.
And it was the weirdest not sad scene that I think I've ever experienced in like movies, where it's like, you're like, no, don't miss it. Don't miss it. Or like, it doesn't really, it happens in like, you know, in the flash, you know, the blink of an eye on screen. But then you like feel so bad because like they go up to the, like 2 minutes later they're up in space, but this guy's been there for like years. Right? Waiting. He's old and everything. You're like, well, that's weird, dude. And
yeah, sorry, the TV series is called Manifest.
oh, Manifest. Oh, yeah.
Manifest.
That's right.
Flight 828.
It's not very old, is it?
Yeah, we're what, 2014?
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. Old, I mean.
So, wait, what was the flight that you were talking about?
MH370.
Oh, yeah, it's like, dude, it's crazy. So, like, is Manifest Flight 828 a true story? Manifest isn't based on a true story, but it is
Loosely?
partially inspired by the mysterious disappearance of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370.
There you go.
Which baffled millions when the news emerged in March 2014. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, so he was inspired by that.
There you go. The whack
Maybe,
thing
yeah.
was that like all the news came out.
Yeah.
This flight's gone missing, and you're like, okay, like not okay. Tragically, I bet everybody is dead. Like probably no survivors, but they're gonna find the plane. You know,
Yeah.
like next day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks. Like you're like, oh wow, this is gonna be harder than they thought. They're gonna have to get like some more boats out there, and it's like 1 month, 1 year. You're like, or like after like 1 month, you're like, holy, they might never actually find this thing, and then they just maybe they are somewhere else now.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the same with there was a chopper that flew from Taiwan.
yeah.
They were loading like sick patients. They were like transferring them to Lambasa hospital.
Yeah.
And it was during like a small rainstorm. They were crossing from there to Natewa to come here, and it disappeared.
Really?
Yeah, till now, like there was a huge search party, came from New Zealand, like
They still haven't
Navy.
found it?
Still haven't found
No.
it. Yeah, it was like what, three years ago? Yeah, still
Dude,
didn't find anything.
you serious?
Yeah,
We should we should do like a full vlog series or like a video series of like trying to find. So somewhere in this island,
yeah, Natewa Bay. Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
You serious?
yeah, yeah,
We should do some wild,
yeah.
crazy like documentary
Yeah.
and try to find. Dude, that would be crazy.
I know. Yeah.
Because I like we've been in Natewa Bay a lot. Like
Yeah.
I mean we know people in there that can take us around.
Yeah, they brought their, those submarine drone.
Oh, it's in the bay. It's in
Yeah.
the water.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant it's on the land somewhere.
Oh,
I
yeah,
never
no,
found-
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
yeah,
Oh, shoot.
yeah.
That's out of my range. Then. Yeah. If it's less than 20 meters,
Yeah.
we can find it.
Yeah.
That's as deep as I can free
I
dive.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's in the bay.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, because that would be so dope if like there was something like some.
Over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we find it. That's kind of like the plane that crashed in Bua or somewhere.
Well, I thought you said there was a plane that crashed
Oh,
in
yeah,
Del
yeah.
Corro.
Yeah, that's the one I went and I was doing freelance for my TV at the time,
Right.
and we went up and did the story for the Cessna 172.
Right.
Yeah, but they actually found it like after, like they did the civil survey.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
Yeah, right after they did the civil survey, like the chopper found the plane, and the
Wow.
guy's like, "Whoa!" And he's like, "I've been circling this place since Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday," and then right after they did that, and like,
I don't get down with that stuff, but like that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not real superstitious like
Yeah.
that about
yeah, well,
like,
yeah.
but yeah, I've heard so many stories like people, even at the Seventh-day Adventist camp, and like, it's so funny how we get this like unique mix of like culture and religion. And no matter anywhere you go in the world, but here, like even last year at the Seventh-day Adventist camp that they had here, it was like really bad weather, really strong wind, and then apparently a bunch of the church leaders who were putting the camp on went to some of the, I don't know, is it Turani Matangali or something, or Turani Ovusa in Naravuka, and they did like a protocol. I don't know if they must. Maybe they didn't do a sim. I don't know. But as soon as they did it, then the weather was fine. They said for like
Okay.
the rest of the, because it did stop raining until the last day, right? And then everybody's like, "Oh yeah," because we did the protocol, and I'm like, I don't know, El Nino, weather patterns. I don't know,
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I'm skeptical. I'm open.
It's always good to
but
be skeptical about
I'm
things.
skeptical.
Yeah,
I just, yeah, skeptical. So yeah, the fires in
LA.
LA, hey?
Yeah.
So have you? I mean, I assume that a lot of people here have seen everything that's going on there. The craziest part to me is like how, I guess everything in the States is political a lot of the times, but there seems like there could have been a lot done to like mitigate this kind of disaster, in my opinion. And so like there was you can go back and find reports of like fire chiefs and stuff saying, and members of Congress who represent the state of California saying that like there's coming a day for the perfect big storm where there's going to be crazy winds and we're not looking after our forests, like, and we don't have the water supply, and it's all going to happen at one time, and it's going to be urban. So like crazy amounts of devastation for people, not just like the mountains.
Yeah.
And this seems to be what's happened,
Yeah.
like crazy. Like they've had like 100 mile an hour or 90 to 100 mile an hour winds, so that's like 160 kilometers an hour. So 500 meters. So in 2 minutes, it'll go 1 kilometer. And so there's pictures of like, especially Pacific Palisades, where like there was like aerial shots of like, the whole community, and it's just like, it's gone. It's totally gone. Decimated. It's just, you just see the streets and it's just carnage, just like all the little houses, big houses. And so the craziest part is that like this is in LA County. So I think it's the US's most populous county. So not the most populous city in the US, but the most populous like area in general. And so these are some of the nicest homes in LA County, which means in California, which means in the whole US, which really means in the whole world. So these are some of the nicest homes in the whole world. And that are being destroyed. So like a lot of these people we don't need to feel sorry for.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I think Mel Gibson has lost his house there.
Tom Hanks didn't. I saw his
No?
house, his mansion, like just beneath the walls.
Okay.
Yeah, around it. Yeah.
And a lot of, like I think one of Joe Biden's kids, is it Hunter? I think Hunter Biden has a house there that he probably lost. And so there's a lot of people who are like, we don't need to feel sorry for these people. These are like the 1%ers. But there's the majority of people who own homes there, like that is their life. Like everything they have has gone, like they've worked their whole life to pay for that home.
Right.
That's all they have. Like people might look at people in LA and be like, oh, it must be nice. But like, yes, you can make $200,000 a year and spend every cent of it and still live paycheck to paycheck. Right? In Beverly Hills, in Pacific Palisades, in like any of these places. And so it still sucks. It still sucks. And I think it was, what did I read here? So I was trying to do a little bit of reading on this for everybody so that I could at least kind of give the best synopsis.
Yeah, left field. Woke California policies.
Yeah, exactly.
DEI, fire chief hire, and misuse of funds. It's funny. I saw this post going around on X about the fire chief over there.
Yeah, like the fire chief's black, or is she a black woman?
No, white.
She's a white woman, but she's lesbian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, over the past years, they've notoriously been, doing DEI hires.
Yeah.
Trying, instead of like finding the best firefighters, they're trying to find the best, Black, Latino, LGBTQI plus, firefighters to like even it out.
Yeah.
And so, this is the problem when you start doing that kind of stuff. Like having diversity in the workplace is not a problem, but when diversity becomes the focus of hiring, then it's a problem. Because there's really certain industries where like diversity, equity, and inclusion should not be even close to the top of the list. Policemen, like firefighters, military. Like strong, fast, fit. That's what I want. Like I don't want Stephanie coming into the house to pull me out of a burning building,
Yeah.
There's definitely people, like they've lowered the standards even in the Canadian military for people who, so that, women can, meet the markers, and they have different, like,
Sets.
different levels to which each gender needs to achieve when it comes to fitness tests and stuff like this. And like, yeah, I don't know, if you're on the opposite end of it, it doesn't make much sense, it feels like.
But I think I do get it, because you know, in certain situations like this, I feel like if it wasn't like the diversity wasn't like the main focus, I feel like they could have done more, you know, more saving or like more firefighter stuff like during the LA fire.
Yeah,
They
and
would
it's like because DI like
like everybody's like right now they was just like all pointing like this is the reason why you
yeah.
guys could have done more. You guys could have, you know, saved a lot of houses and all this. This wasn't like the focus.
Yeah, because when you're focusing on creating equality, which is not smart. When you're focused on DEI, you're not focused on things like upgrading the pipelines, making sure like the hydrants are working. You know, because you're focusing on other things instead of just focusing on what helps people fight fires, right? And so now we're in a spot where we are. And so the craziest part to me about all of this is that State Farm, which insures like thousands and thousands of homes in the States, recently just canceled all fire insurance for homes. And so, so like all of these, like most of these people have no insurance now. Whereas like normally like your house would get burned down, you'd be in a hotel for a few weeks or a few months or a year.
The houses in LA.
Yeah, and now they have no insurance because State Farm canceled the insurance policy that comes to house fires because they saw that the government of California and Gavin Newsom weren't doing things to mitigate the potential for crazy fires to take place. And so when they saw that they weren't raking the forests and they were leaving the deadfall because they're trying to save the bugs, and that they weren't damming the rivers that have snow melt in Northern California so that they could build up their water reserve because they're trying to save smelt and like little minnows and trout and stuff. Like as an insurance company, you'd be like, oh, it's way too much risk. And the government is not doing anything to like mitigate the chances of firefighters being able to do their job properly. So they removed insurance policies. So they canceled that part of insurance policies, right?
I wouldn't blame them for doing
Well, yeah, because it's business, right? So
Yeah.
insurance companies are the worst at the worst of times. Like, because an insurance company's job is to sell you, is to get you to spend money and then hopefully never have to give you the business. Like, right?
Yeah.
And so you have a car, you pay insurance on it, you crash the car, they send an inspector to try to find some reason why they shouldn't give you insurance.
Any fault
right?
or anything,
Yeah,
yeah,
or like mitigate. Instead of just like, because people take such huge advantage of that, right?
Yeah.
So the problem is actually not with State Farm, the insurance provider. The problem is with
The government.
the government.
Yeah.
And and so now like a bad situation, people losing their homes is even worse because most of the people who have lost their homes are not going to have any insurance or any means to be able to rebuild. Because like if you've worked nonstop on a, you know, paying off your mortgage on a, you know, $5 million home, like, and you're now on retirement, like you're not going to be able to afford to rebuild, right?
Yeah.
And so this is probably where you have big companies like BlackRock and everything moving in, like they tried to do in Hawaii, and try to like just like, okay, we'll buy Pacific Palisades for like, you know, $500 billion or whatever, because they're like not that much, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where you have these huge like property developers and real estate moguls, like the big companies come in and try to pay people out, right, and take advantage of the situation.
And I know, and like with people like that, like they don't have that many options, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, all right, I'm just gonna sell this place out.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's so many crazy things to this whole story. And another crazy thing is that Karen Bass, who's the mayor of Los Angeles, was in Ghana, and she just got back like yesterday, I think.
Oi.
So she was in Africa. She was selected as part of a 4-man, not convoy, but like Biden picked 4 people to go to Ghana for the inauguration of their new president or prime minister, whatever they have there. And so I think the U.S. has been like involved in Ghana for years and years, like ever since their independence in like 1957 or something like that. So there's always been like a good relationship with those two countries. But like for like the last week, there's been fires. and she's just been in Ghana, and so this like she's getting roasted.
Oh,
no
shit.
pun intended, because they're like, "How are you? Yeah, roasted. How are you handling like your city's burning,
Yeah.
and you're like in Africa?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?" You know? That's such a bad look, you know.
Yeah, it is.
That is such a bad look.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
it makes your head spin.
Yeah.
How can you not be, at least in the States, like
Yeah.
you should be in your, and they're like, everything's being handled as best we can, and people are like, no, it's not going well.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of like firefighters using like traffic cones. They like plug the bottom with their hand, and they're like scooping water out of pools to like,
Oh,
because they have no running water,
right.
like it's just desperation.
Speaking of mayor and government, like, how is your stepping down of the prime minister in
Oh, in Canada. Yeah, glorious, man.
Glorious.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm not like a political talking head. I don't know enough about politics. So
Yeah.
I don't really usually get too involved in the conversations because it can be quite like isolating. Because here's the purpose, like for our businesses, is that like people see the way that we do business, and it points them towards Jesus. It's that like, because like people like think like, oh, you got to be a missionary if you want to like show people that God loves them, and like, but it's like, oh, you can just be a good person and conduct yourself honestly in the place of business, and that also achieves really, really great things. And a lot of the money in Fiji and the world is controlled by people who don't love Jesus, and then end up doing really bad things with money. And so it's like churches and schools and hospitals and stuff don't get built without money. And so if we can be some part of that, that'd be great. And so sometimes sharing my opinion on like things like this doesn't achieve the big purpose of like what we
right.
do. And so like it can just be more isolating for us to talk about politics than it is worth. But yeah, I think it's pretty widely agreed in my circle of friends and family
Back home.
that it was time for him to go. Yeah.
How long was he running?
It was 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Almost.
So that's like what, two
terms.
terms.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, he was up against a lot. Like he had the whole COVID, like pandemic thing to deal with. It's like, it's easy for me as an idiot sitting here in Fiji to be like, that was mishandled. But like, I have actually no real idea what happened, and what it was like to be a leader at that time. Like, yeah, okay, I don't like Joe Biden, I don't like Justin Trudeau, but like, what would you have done, Jonathan? I don't know. Better? Sure. Maybe. Maybe not. But, yeah. I mean, when did they find, there was like, for me, the time when I was like, oh, Trudeau has to go, Kamloops grave discovery. When was this? Sorry. There's a day when they were doing this like LiDAR scanning, like through the earth, like we were talking about, and they found this mass grave that contained like 215 children in it. So Canada has a really dark history with the indigenous population, and when like Westerners came in, they, were largely Catholic. They put them into schools so that they could totally like destroy their language, destroy their culture. So that they would assimilate with Western ideologies and stuff like that, right? And so terrible things happen to children and to adults, male and female. And so there was, they did the scan in this city close to us in Kamloops, and they're like, oh, there's a huge mass grave here, old residential school site. 215 children were buried in this mass grave. And then immediately Trudeau told, like, I don't know what do you say, commanded that all flags in Canada be flown at half mast. And they were flown at half mast for like 6 months. And then in the end, they found out that like there wasn't actually a mass grave there. And then the group of people that asked them to raise the flags was actually an Indigenous First Nations group that was like, look, like Remembrance Day is coming up November 11th, the time when we wear the poppy and we lower the flag to half mast in memory of what happened, you know, in the war. And we have like First Nations veterans that we would like to honor, but we cannot lower our flag further than half mast. So can you please initiate the flags being raised all the way so that when Remembrance Day arrives, that we can actually honor our veterans and lower the flag. And so it was just like, talking about diversity and equity and inclusion, and then being so apologetic for it, and then being like, I think we found a mass grave. Oh my gosh, all flags in Canada to be flown at half mast, just on a whim, not even confirming it, and then be flown at half mast for months. And then the irony that it's like a First Nations group that's like, dude, put the flag up. Like, you ridiculous white guy. Like, stop trying to act like you're really sorry. And there's nothing there. And we'd actually like to honor our own Indigenous people who have fought in wars. So, like, please raise the flag. Like, stuff like that is just like, dude, it's real narcissistic to me. It's just like, you want everybody to think you're so like apologetic, you know, like me, you know, give you guys things and we'll just like honor you so much, and it just in the end you end up looking like a fool because you're trying to look so good all the time, instead of actually solving like real issues, right? And like in my experience, which is very limited at best, and I'm an idiot. Like, just like trying to pay penance as a government for things that happened in the past is just like, it doesn't really go anywhere. So I spent 4 years growing up in Africa. And right after the Civil War in Mozambique, for those of you who don't know, I've talked about it a bunch, but there's like so many NGOs and charities in like every African country almost. And there's a lot of people and evidence that you can see that say, like there's a lot of people that say like all of this free aid is actually like the worst thing that's ever happened to a lot of these African nations because it's crippled. They don't know how to operate without it. The government's and it's fueled so much corruption because money comes in, and then, you know, different governments, you know, obviously abuse the money and take it and use it, and like, you know, World Vision, some of these huge companies, like it's like 1 cent on every dollar that actually makes it to like people on the ground, you know? And so what I'm saying is like just throwing money at like people groups without like an actual plan of attack, like it doesn't work a lot of the time. And so just giving people free handouts, there's just got to be a better way. And you know, that's why I'm always worried for like Fiji. It's like, because we have, luckily people, you know, white people didn't come here and put us into residential schools, right, and try to destroy our culture and take away our land. But like, dude, China's not far away, you know, and you cannot trust the Chinese government. And they are infiltrated into Fiji and their businesses, and like every Chinese businessman is an arm of the Chinese government. There's 100%. They go hand in hand. And we've talked about this a bunch, and so I it's not like a stretch for me to see like we as Fijians don't use our land. We have a corrupt government that gets into office one day, maybe, hopefully not, like really hopefully not, and they want to make a bunch of money, and they sell off a bunch of land. And the Chinese come in and they bring in their millions of people and their unlimited amounts of manufacturing and resources, and they do all the things that we never did with our own land, and then we end up confined to our village boundaries and this mountain, and the rivers are getting mined for gold and shipped off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, because I've seen a little bit of what happens in Africa, and growing up in Canada, in the northern Canada, with like lots of people grow up in these countries, never actually like speak to a First Nations person. Like where I grew up, it was surrounded by reserves. Like most of my best friends were First Nations guys, and it's like it's rough. And their people groups were like almost decimated. And their culture, their language, it's almost totally disappeared because of what colonization did, right? So I am sympathetic to it, but the solution cannot be just endless amounts of like, oh, sorry, and flying flags at half-mast and giving people money. But at the same time, people like us in Fiji need to be careful.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's only like a bad man away from China owning a bunch of it. I say China, but it could be, I guess, anybody. That they're the biggest threat, I think. Because like you see what happened in Bua with like where you're from with the bauxite stuff.
Yeah, the
And like
bauxite.
I don't know those guys, they might be a totally legit business, but like bauxite is not like a super valuable commodity. But like they weren't just mining for bauxite. They were like they'd pull up ships like and they were just taking soil.
Yeah.
Like what all was in the soil that we don't know
Everything.
about? Like gold, silver, brass, copper, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like there's something there that was more valuable than bauxite.
Yeah.
But they were not just like mining the soil and then leaving the tailings and then taking the bauxite.
Taking the bauxite, yeah.
They were shipping soil out. Just like, oh, that is
So they
Who
think
knows?
about it. They filtered it, bauxite, copper, whatever, and the left, they use the soil to build new lands. Like how they did in Denver.
Yeah.
I was like, they was like use that again. Nutrients, everything, they take it out and they use that.
Yeah.
It was after that first one with Norway, and then the second one they did in Riketi that they bring in the filters. Well, like that huge oval.
Oh, so they actually
cone.
started filtering.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
only after the Norway one.
What happened in Norway? We were just talking about Norway before this.
Yeah, they were doing exactly that.
Oh.
Digging it.
Taking the raw soil.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this information was true, but like people over there, well, they mentioned like they took a photo of the place that they were digging, and usually when they go in and work, the locals, they're told to put their phones and whatever, everything in the security booth
Oh.
before they go in, and they come back out, they take their phones, and like they said like, oh no, just because it's not
Policy
allowed.
or
Yeah,
like no phones
policy.
at work,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
So I think one of them, it was after a few months of them staying there, or like a year. I think somebody went and like actually able to take the phone in, because they have these sensors, they have
Ooh,
these things like
really?
they can pick it up like somebody's in there with a phone, whatever.
Well,
I'm like, whoa. And I think this guy came across from somewhere and he took a picture. So the digging was like, going around.
okay,
Down.
down, yeah.
Yeah.
Open pit mine.
So he took a picture and like at his index finger, he can cover these huge trucks. You know those trucks?
Oh, yeah.
Those big bucket.
But it can cover it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that's
in-
so
in
small down
point.
there.
And he took a photo of it. And it's like, dude, that's so deep.
But that can be real because you see it on Google Maps.
The what?
Like you'd see that mining site on Google Maps.
Yeah. What about it?
No, like if it was that big, you would see,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know.
Like I know you said you don't know if it's true, but
And I think somebody leaked the information, and after that, the
Wow.
place got closed. But by the time it did, now the land feels like it's so barren because they've taken out all these nutrients, and and you just look at the land, and it just seems so dead, you know.
Yeah, and tailings are always like that. So on all the mine sites in Canada,
Yeah.
like it's always like that. Like the tailings is the rock debris that's left after everything's been, or like the copper's been taken out of it, or the gold's been taken out of it, right? And so it's usually like that because it gets washed in water, and so like all the minerals are, kind of washed out of the soil. So yeah, that is the downside though, right?
Yeah, and it did damage a lot of even our we have a family island.
Yeah, because all that silt will just float into the ocean.
Yeah, it destroyed the reefs.
Oh yeah, see?
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
destroy the
Yeah,
reefs.
because they just wash all that.
Wash from there.
Yeah.
And during they were doing the bauxite, that place when we were going towards Yangganga,
Tabea, that's
yeah, it's always just brown in color.
Oi,
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
Not in flooding.
yeah. Even when it rains, it's worse. Yeah,
But
it's
even
just-
on dry time, it's still brown.
yeah,
Whoa.
like it really destroyed most of the reefs down there
Wow.
because of that. And after that, then they did the another bauxite in Riketi. That they finally have that filtered. We can go past it and we can see this huge cone kind of filter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they did that.
Oh,
Finally.
wow.
Yeah. And you mentioned about the Google Maps.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I agree. She's saying like the Google Maps haven't been updated in years, and I realized that. Like it's only like after 2 years or 3 years, and then they finally do an update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it depends. Like some places are, because I can tell, like even on my farm, when I zoom in, I can see like, oh, I plowed that. That's only been plowed once, right? And I can tell what it looks like. But like, yeah. So our farm, the picture for our farm was updated somewhere between May and August. I can tell just from looking at my farm. But yes, I know what you guys are talking about. Yeah, it's not. They're like, they can take an image of like one spot, but then like just down the road, it cannot be updated too, right?
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's one question here. Rombula, Paul, do you have any recommendations for builders in Fiji? I'm wanting to build a concrete home in my village in Serua. Currently residing in Australia and having trouble finding an honest builder.
Oh. I mean, it. Sorry. Man, that really. Serua. Pacific Harbor, Man, there's got to be a lot of builders there that people use, hey? It just really depends on your budget, you know? Yeah, to be honest with you. Who is this?
Paul. Yeah.
Maybe just get him to drop his contact or something, or just like DM us maybe, because I can reach out and see. I can ask for you because I know more about builders on this island, obviously, like Honolulu.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you could always go with who's this? Linda Tambuya's husband. What's it called? South Pacific or
Pacific
PBSA?
PBS.
Pacific Building Solution.
Yeah.
But they're like
Way class.
upper echelon,
Yeah.
like kind of pricing, right?
Yeah, if
I think you get what you pay for with them.
Yeah.
Also, I've seen houses that
by them.
have not been built well by them.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they do all the big resorts and everything, right?
Right.
In Fiji, and like the big houses as well. So yeah, you just need somebody who knows how to do good honest work.
Yeah.
If you're just building a family house, probably. Yeah. So let me I can do some digging. I can make some calls and find out for you, Paul. Yeah, because that's the hard part when you're sending money from overseas and you're not there. That happened with this house. Like, this house needs some sprucing up. Obviously, it's been here for a while and paint job and stuff. Probably clean up this mess that I have behind me for once. But yeah, like there was stuff that we didn't know happened as it was building, sending money from overseas. That were just the result of oh, they did that. Okay. Yeah. And that's just a problem when you do it from a distance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sister's asking, have you seen Venica Kid House on Facebook?
What is it called?
Venica. Venika Kid House. Oh, like containers. Is this in Fiji? Right. Container looking kind of house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's Fiji. Oh dude.
It is Fiji?
Yeah, I saw one here in
Not Vinaka Farm.
Nabua, Singatoka. No, Venica. Venika.
Oh, this is on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look at that after.
Dude, yeah. This, yeah, looks really good. I've always wanted, if I ever build simple, affordable, nice house, like containers. And these are in Fiji.
Okay, I just went onto Facebook. Yo, check out this video of my neighbor, my mom and dad's neighbor, this morning. They just posted this in. Check out these driving skills, dude, from him. Avoiding this accident. Look at this.
Oh, this is on his
dash cam.
Hey! Oh!
Dude, that's impressive, right? Oh, it keeps playing. Okay.
Was it the snow that helped him?
Yeah.
Like,
that snow does not help, but
Yeah.
he did it anyways.
like shh, look how it turned. Like, dude.
Skills, eh? Ups. Drift.
Hey.
That is wild.
Would you have executed that? I feel like he was skating as well with the snow.
Snow.
There was a bit of
Oh,
snow.
Venica Kid House. Okay, cool. Yeah, those look sweet, eh?
Yeah, it's container based but rock wool walls.
Fiji.
Rock what?
Rock wool.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yes, Fiji.
Fiji.
No, that. No, back in Canada. Yeah, it's prefab houses from prefabrication, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. From China, they assemble it here in Fiji. They have a farm in Navua and they have place where you can see them. Dude,
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just always like the prefab houses always end up being a little bit like industrial for me. Like,
Yeah.
We're gonna go eat marshmallow.
where? In the fire.
But I like the way it looks.
Yeah, it's just always on the inside. They're always just like kind of a bit cold. Like they don't really have a lot of character. But maybe you don't want character. Maybe you just want a solid house,
Yeah.
I just find that sometimes the kit homes and container homes, they just like a bit square and boxy and cold feeling.
Yeah.
And they lack the soul that like a house built
Of
with
a house.
hands comes with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's good for Airbnbs, I think.
Yeah, probably.
And people who like young and like wanting to have a house,
Yeah.
like a simple like startup or whatever. I don't know if these are affordable.
Actually, speaking of that, next week, this is not going to be sponsored this week, but next week I'm going to have on a gentleman who is sponsoring the live.
Yeah.
He's paying for it. He or a unique thing that we'll be talking about, because usually like when we do sponsored, it's like, you know, just for a business of some sort. But he's actually is a Itoke guy who's living in Australia. He's obtained a property. He's got in Serua. Actually, it's funny. Who is this talking about Serua there? Paul.
Sisa.
Sisa? Huh?
Yeah. Sisa's.
No, Paul.
Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul. His house.
And he's got all the zoning, beachfront, and he's looking for an investor to partner up with him to go into glamping. Everything's ready to go. Like he just needs cash. Bank's giving him
$1 million.
1 mil, 1.2 mil. And they originally had said that they would give him the full loan, and so he was not needing an investor, and he needs this to happen right away. And then after months and months of deliberation with the bank, they finally gave him, they're like, okay, yeah, you're good. And then when he got the paperwork, they're like, in for 1 million, which is like half what he needs.
Yeah.
So he's looking for basically a 50-50 partner to go in with him and build the road and start. He wants to do glamping, which I think is a really, really good idea. Like the canvas type houses. I think there's a huge market for that in Fiji. Like people who, like luxury tenting.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, you know, making little platforms in the bush, you know, overlooking the ocean, and it's just like more affordable, but you're like, feel like you're in with nature. Yeah. And they're like luxury tents, right? And so we'll have him on next week, and
Oh, he's coming, yeah?
we're gonna stream him in.
Okay.
Yeah. So it might just be on Facebook then, I guess.
Yeah. We have to choose either Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah. And so, yeah, if you guys, so he's gonna come on because he's looking for a partner, and so, I think it's a good idea. I think this is a good idea on his part to use our platform for that.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people overseas who he's willing to release all the paperwork that he has. He gave it all to me, but I will not release any because I don't want to get involved in that process. I told him I'm just the marketing guy, but he's got like all the legal paperwork and everything set up already, like outlining all the investment that's taking place on the property, what needs to be done to get it to the stage. Like he's got all of the environmental impact. Like, dude, he's gone to the next level. Like with the,
Here you
like it's literally ready. It's turnkey. As far as like you don't have. All the permitting is there, hotel zoning is there, and like when you open a hotel, he was telling me like, I'm kind of doing the promo now. I was just like learning things. He's like, it automatically comes with like taxi, like it becomes like a zone for taxis, right? So you can have like, so when a hotel opens up, a bunch of other businesses can start too, right?
Yeah.
Because they have like they get assigned like a couple taxi base or permits will be assigned to them and all this kind of stuff, right? And he's already done the hard work because it wasn't actually zoned for a hotel. And so he's already changed all that. He's paid for all of that already. So like, it's close to Wainroka Bay Resort. And Wainroka Bay doesn't actually have access to the ocean. And his property does. And so it's, there's also opportunity for marina and stuff there. The Wainroka tried to build, but then got stopped because they were dredging the ocean to make a channel.
Channel.
And they got stopped for the environmental impact. So.
But he has.
He has, yeah, he has the ocean access. Yeah, and so I'm excited because I want to be part of giving people opportunities to invest back home. And I know a lot of you like 1 million Fijian is a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, for people who are saving up and maybe always wanted to do something back home, but like don't know what to do. And like instead of blowing money on, you know, hoping your cousins are planting your yangona, you know, this is a cool option.
Yeah.
And like this is like you're straight into like the tourism industry in Fiji. And that would come with a lot of incentives, like for importation of different things, because you could use, you know, because you have a business now, you'd be able to get different, you know, tax related deductions and forgiveness from FIRCA, and you know, because you're contributing to the economy and stuff like that. And so I think it's a very cool way for somebody just to make business impact in a big way. I mean, anyways, we'll talk about that more next week.
So
But for if
good,
anybody's
good.
listening, that would be. I mean, I'm only making a few $100 off of, you know, having him on, but I'd hope that somebody
something
can
bigger.
make like the investment of a lifetime. It'd be neat. It'd be neat. So yeah, we're good.
Okay, yeah.
I know
we're
we
good.
didn't talk about everything, but we talked about the important things.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys back here on Monday evening, right?
Monday.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining. This is On the Mat live
Hallelujah.
with your one and only brothers from other mothers. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll see you on Monday.
Monday.
Peace.